Okay, here we are. We're back at Farsight Studios, and this is part 2 of a tour of what this important industry does and how it helps Big Bear. We'll meet Jay Obernolte, the president, again, and see really how things are done. Hi, how are you?
Hi. This is Brian. He's one of our engineers. This is one of the games we're working on right now. It's another version of our pinball game, licensed from Williams, which is one of the largest pinball manufacturers. Back when there were lots of pinball manufacturers, and you can play any of these historical tables, and it's all completely photorealistic. We have a license from the Pinball Hall of Fame in Las Vegas, Nevada, that has the largest collection of pinball tables in the world, and so we go out there and we capture exactly what the tables look like, exactly what they sound like, and we have a lot of historical details that are unlocked as well. So
that's amazing. That's so realistic, like you're having a real pinball machine in front of you.
Yeah, so this one, we're just starting on this. We've only been working on it a few weeks, but this will be ready probably the middle of next year is when this game will be on shelves.
How long does it take you to develop a game?
Well, it depends on the game. It's a simple game might be as short as 6 months maybe, and complicated games can go up to 18 months.
Wow.
So the average average development time for our games is about a year.
But you can do probably 2 or 3 games a year with the amount of people you have here?
Right. We try to do a couple a year, and if we actually had our choice, we would just do one a year, which is how we started. But that's not a sustainable business model, because sometimes things happen from a business perspective. A publisher will decide that the market's changed and they're not interested in the same product, and they'll cancel the game, or maybe a publisher will have financial difficulty or something like that. So we kind of learned the hard way that we need to have different business lines and do multiple things at a time, which meant we had to be a little bigger.
Well, that's something.
This is
another game?
Right, this is another game that we're working on right now. This is Peanuts Baseball. It's a baseball game with a Peanuts license. So that's exciting. We're really excited about this game. We've been working on it for almost a year now, and it's going to be out for baseball season next year.
Look how realistic that is. You know.
You see Woodstock flying around?
Yeah. Boy, this is something.
So this is on the PlayStation 2.
Now you say that it takes several people, engineers and designers, so forth, to do various aspects of one game.
Sure.
Just one person just doesn't design the whole thing.
No, that used to be the case in the very early days. We didn't even need an office because there weren't enough people that needed. One person could do the art, the animation, because it was very simple. The music, there were just bloops and bloops, so we didn't really need professional music, and all of the programming and design, because the games were not very complicated. But now we'll have designers that do the design, we'll have programmers that do all of the computer code for the game, artists that do these beautiful environments that you see, animators that do the animation. We'll have musicians that put together the scores, and we've got producers that tie the whole thing together. They're kind of a business management role where they make sure that dependencies get met.
This is amazing.
So the typical team size for a game, and these are not large games. In our industry, games can have teams that are hundreds of people.
Right.
But our teams are not that big. We do smaller games. We might have 10 to 15 people on a development team.
Right. And that's what you want. You say you just don't want to grow that big.
Right. I just would hate to have a company where you walk down the hall and you don't immediately know everyone's name and birthday and kids. And
so I say you're a family here, everybody. 20, how many on your staff?
23. 23.
Whew. And you've grown from that from the 13 years you've been here.
Oh, sure, yeah. When we started up here, we didn't even have an office. We collaborated via internet and telephone. So.
Hey.
That's right.
We're showing off offices.
Okay.
And the geniuses here.
Yeah. Oh. This is Jeff.
Well, you came to the right place then.
He's one of our lead programmers. Bobby King is our director of development. That's Bobby's office over here.
Yeah, he gets a nice office.
Yeah, right. The big one. Okay, hey, this looks like a gym.
Yep, got a little exercise room here that people can use.
I bet sitting at a computer all day, staring at a screen, you kind of like to get up and maybe do a little exercise.
Yeah, well, that's what we think. And, it's as I said earlier, we're really trying hard to build a kind of environment where people can come and spend their whole career and stay productive, and that'd be unusual for our industry. It's very high
Sure.
stress. It's very deadline driven. It's especially when you're doing a sports game or a Christmas game. The deadlines are hard and fast, and companies have a lot of money tied up in making sure these games ship on time. And so there's a lot of pressure. So we try and arrange things so that we know that people have to work hard, but we also want them to get away.
You want to have the pressure valve released.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So we try and set up our policies so that we're generous on vacation. We encourage people to not take it a day or two at a time. We want them to take a week at a time and go off the hill somewhere and
clear their mind and get a new perspective on everything.
Sure, that's important.
And they come back and they're twice as good as before they left.
Sure, and if you don't do that, people might go a year or 2 or 3, but then they're burned out and they're not productive, they're not creative, and it's really not a good situation.
Yeah, I would imagine you have a very low turnover here.
We do, especially for our industry. It's incredibly low.
Really.
We do have to recruit. We recruit nationally. We advertise when we have positions that are open. When we are going to have someone come in for an interview, we fly them in and their whole family. If they're married and they have kids, we want those people to come in too. Because moving to Big Bear, it's kind of a lifestyle decision.
That's right.
And we want to make sure that everyone's on board. But what we find is there are some of the candidates that we interview and we realize, they're city people and Big Bear's not for them. But for every one of those, there are probably 3 candidates for whom Big Bear is a huge asset.
Oh, yes.
And, so I would imagine over the years we probably brought 50 people and their families to Big Bear.
Isn't that great? And of course, coming to work. I mean, where else can you drive to work amongst the pines?
Right.
No freeway traffic, no stress by the time you get to work.
Sure.
You're relaxed all the time.
Yeah, I'm probably tied for longest commute in the office. I live in Fawnscan.
Yes, right.
Just exactly around the lake. Doesn't matter which way you go. But I go through the dam, and it takes me 12 minutes to get in. With no stoplights, so
Really?
yeah, you just can't beat that.
I know it. And you're in a whole other world in Fawnscan.
Sure.
I mean, it's different than the South Shore of Big Bear Lake, even though you'll be building a home here one of these days.
Yeah.
And
Next year,
be
maybe.
here. Yeah, next year. That's cool. Okay, let's move on down. Wow, look at this. This is not a dining room, folks. This is a conference room, but I guess it could be used as a dining room.
I'm smiling because sometimes we have what we call crunch time. I was mentioning earlier how deadline-driven this industry can be, and so sometimes necessarily people need to work all hours of the day and night to try and get a product out on time. So we call that crunch time, and we try and make it. It's inevitable. We try and plan so that there's not very much of it that's required, but when it is required, we try and make it as painless as we possibly can. So what we'll do is we'll have dinners brought in, and we'll often eat dinner here during crunch time.
Oh, sure. Well, look at that gold sink. It's actually brass. Or gold, I don't know.
This is the room the ASNA people built. I'm not sure.
That's right.
I'm not sure I need a wet bar in my conference room, but.
Oh, that's right. That would be. I thought it was just a hand washing sink, and that's what it is. Yeah, ASNA was here for many years. It also was a nationwide computer company.
Right, they did internet.
And they did internet.
I'm sorry, Unix.
Unix.
Big computer software.
Right. And they outgrew this building, and you're growing into this building. And and they moved on to Texas, down there,
Right.
and they have a big facility down there. I guess still going quite well.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
Yeah, I haven't heard either. Okay, but now you do have a kitchen. See, so a washer, dryer. Man, you could just live here.
Well, it's.
And some of them do.
I talk a lot about, the kind of environment we try to provide here, and what we find is the easier we can make people's lives, the more productive they are, and
Sure.
for us, the more time they spend at work. So we have ulterior motives. So we try and build a kind of environment where,
Right.
if someone wants to bring a lunch or dinner here and heat it up, that's fine. If they got laundry to do, they can do that.
Can they take a lay down break?
Sure.
I mean,
Well,
can they
we have a
get
lot
through?
of, it's kind of embarrassing, but most of the offices have a futon couch in them.
Oh, really?
Sure.
Oh, so they can get 40 winks real quick and revive themselves.
I can tell you, unfortunately, I spent many a night on mine.
Sure. Well, that's great. I am just so impressed with this operation. And people say, we need industry up here. But what you do is you provide good employment. And this is not a low entry level minimum wage type operation.
No.
This is what we call a garden industry, and this is what we need up here. But I don't know, we just can't seem to we had ASNA, now you. There's individual computer people up here in homes and offices, but not big operations.
Well, you get me on my soapbox here, but
okay, yeah, go ahead.
My biggest problem with Big Bear, as a business owner in this kind of business right now, is the cost of housing. When we first started the company up here, one of the things I really liked about Big Bear is how affordable the housing was, and I liked the fact that we could hire people, pay them enough that they could own a house and raise a family on a single income, and I think that's really important. That's what we try and do. My
Sure.
wife, she has many outside interests, but I like the fact that she doesn't have somewhere she has to be every single day, 40 hours a week, because she spends that time with our children, and I really think that that's an important thing.
Sure.
And in this day and age, even in Big Bear, even for what we pay, which, as you say, is not entry level. I mean, it's far above minimum wage is what our average salary is. But even for that, it's difficult to own a house in Big Bear and raise a family on a single income, and that's a shame.
I know.
I don't know what to do about it. I'm complaining and I have no solutions. But
I know. Well, that's one of the things our city councils keep saying, is that we need affordable housing. Mm-hmm. We need it for our employees up here. But we have very little land left within the city of Big Bear Lake, so it has to be in the county.
Right.
So who's going to really provide it and spearhead it out in the county area? Mm-hmm. Somebody will, one of these days. But there's a lot of land available, and you can put in a lot of modular homes that are nice, that aren't that expensive, that are affordable. Well, you're not the only one complaining. I hear it all the time about affordable housing for employees.
I'm sure you do.
That's great. Let's move on. We'll just look at some of the offices.
Sure, this is Amy, one of our
Hi, Amy.
animators. This is Darren, our senior animator, lead animator.
Hey.
Hi, Darren. Look at these. Now, these are not yours? Or?
Well, this is very common in the game industry that people will decorate their offices with all the products that they've worked on. So Darren's
I
been
see.
here.
Oh, so he's worked on these.
How long have you
So.
been here now, Darren?
Going on 3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Before, in the companies that he's worked with before, those are some of the other games that he's done.
Wow. That's neat. Just keep going on down.
Sure, that's Migo, one of our senior artists. Hey, Migo.
Hi, Migo.
Hi.
This is really something.
That's Tom Green, our art director.
Hello.
Hi there. Well, they're just everywhere. And it's so quiet in here. You say if they want to listen to music, they put on headsets so they don't disturb any other.
Sure. Well, everyone has the different work environment they find optimal. So some people like music, some people like quiet. It's Chris Klein, one of our senior artists.
I want to show you Jay's office. You must be a Southwest buff.
Oh yeah. It's pretty funny. I used to have a lot nicer stuff before I had children.
Yeah.
They think
Well,
the
look at
casino
this.
for
Aren't
playing
these
with.
great? Very, very good. Very unusual. You even have a shower, so you can sleep here.
Sure. Yeah.
There's your futon.
As I say, I've done it many nights.
Yeah, I'll bet. Well, coming to an end, Jay. I'm so impressed. I'm sure people will, and I just can't thank you enough
It was a pleasure having
for
you.
showing us around and showing us one of the finest industries Big Bear Valley has to offer. And you're bringing people here, your family, and I tell you, it's just nothing but bright skies ahead for you.
Well, we just love living in Big Bear.
I know, that's great.
We've traveled the world, and I've never found anywhere that I'd rather live.
Really?
Mhm.
Me too. That's the way it is. Well, to raise a family and everything, we thank you very much for everything you've done. You're part of the community. You not only provide employment, but you invest your own time in community activities, as well as Heather does. So we're proud of you. Nice to have the Obernoldies up here.
Thanks. We enjoyed being here.
Okay, so that concludes this segment here. Thanks, Jay. Well, we're still in Jay's office, and what a working environment. Look at the view out his north window. That concludes this segment here at Farsight Studios. And now stay tuned for a word from my sponsors.